your pardon?
The stream is live. I forgot my lipstick.
Okay.
Do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
What the is that, dude?
Well, howdy, folks. How are you? Hope you're doing pretty well, and I hope you had a very happy, safe, enjoyable, and potentially prosperous weekend if you got into Trump coins over the last 24 hours or so. Woohoo! Unless you're still holding those Trump coins, in which case, boo-hoo! That was a boo-hoo. Why? Because he's been trumped by Melania. Yes, there is a meme coin, Melania thing coming out, or has been out, and taking the internet by storm. I haven't got any of that, but good luck to you if you're playing in that realm. I did try and get into a couple of people to talk about it, see what sort of ramifications that actually has for the world. People who bought in lost potentially billions of dollars on the Trump coin when it was trumped by the Melania coin. The Trump coin was pumped and, as they call it, dumped. And don't know what that really means. It didn't lose all its value, not by a long shot, but it did lose $1 billion or so, and that might upset some people. Anyway, we'll leave that one for another night, because tonight we're going to talk grand juries. We're going to talk indictments. We're going to talk how serious these sorts of things can be taken, and why something like a grand jury, for most people in Australia, will, I suppose, have an association with an American grand jury. This is something a little bit different, and not associated with the American grand jury in any way. This is all being put together, of course, by the folks behind the treason trials and the national, or the indictment rally, which is planned for February the 8th. Now, the corruption whistleblower, if you are unaware, is available. Well, I think you can get it down online and get it sent to you, but there are various people selling the whistleblower around the country right now, a lot of people. It is a magnificent newspaper. I cannot recommend it to you highly enough. It is the kind of newspaper that never gets thrown out, because the information in it is relevant regardless of the date. And it's the ideal kind of thing to just leave lying around about, the places where you might find a lot of unawakened folks. You might just sit down and start reading and learning a little bit more. That cover is from issue 1. This is issue 2, which is currently available around the countryside. And if you come across me, I have 100 or so copies of them here in the bus, and I am very happy to share one with you. The cost is $5, and I got to tell you, it's probably the best $5 that you will spend. That edition number 1, having read it cover to cover, I personally believe should be laminated and back and front and put up in every classroom in the country. The kids should be educated in this way and know what's happened. So what has happened? What are we going to do about it? Well, that was in part what happened over the weekend at the meeting I told you I was attending. There were a number, I think 25 attendees at this meeting. And I've got to say I was absolutely honoured to be invited and to sit amongst some of the greatest minds constitutionally and otherwise in this country. And tonight I'm joined by three of the people that were there. Two of these folks organised the weekend and put it together. The other one you will be very familiar with if you've been playing in the Commonwealth Fields in New South Wales for a little while. I'm sure when I mention the name Mona, everybody will say, "Hey, it's Mona!" because she's wonderful. And, of course, we're joined by Peter and Donna as well from the Corruption Whistleblower. Thank you guys for coming on, joining us tonight, and thank you for the weekend. I know the boys who hosted us are sitting around you there somewhere.
Thanks, Carl.
I want to
That's
publicly
great.
thank them for the weekend as well.
Yeah.
We had an amazing time, and it was such a learning experience. I feel honoured to have been invited to attend. Thank you very much. And tonight we're going to share a little bit. We did discuss a lot, and we will share a lot more, but we're going to share this in chunks, really, aren't we, tonight? And we're going to talk grand jury indictments. What is a grand jury? What is an indictment? And how the hell is it going to help us in any way? Who wants to start? Peter?
Yeah, right, I'll start. Yeah, so a grand jury indictment is our peers all getting together to see if there is enough evidence to make an indictment or create a criminal charge for a trial.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you say to people who say, oh, it's an American thing?
No, that's not true. It's a grand jury of our peers. Anybody can hold a grand jury. It's we the people. And because of the problem we've got at the moment is we have no valid courts whatsoever. The whole lot of the seals are fraudulent. They're outside of referendum consent. So that's why we can't get justice in any of our courts. And many Australians will agree with that. The ones that don't realise how bad it is are the ones that haven't been into our court system. It's totally unjust.
Yeah. I think it's pretty widely known now that you only get perceived justice if you've got enough money to get into the court system prepared to fight it to the very bitter end. And even then, by the time you do, the money's gone. The lawyers and the judges have it regardless. So there is no true justice in the system, 100% right. And it has been corrupted. And as I mentioned, edition 1 of the Corruption Whistleblower outlines in great, exquisite detail that's very easy for people to understand exactly how the fraud was perpetrated against us. Thank you, Donna. Yeah, exactly how the fraud was perpetrated against us. So the purpose of the weekend, Donna, would you like to explain what was the purpose of the weekend we've just experienced together?
So, yeah, we probably not going to speak too much about that because it's all done with now. So we had a lovely chance just to get together and have a chat about pathways to move forward, which was already happening anyhow. So we're already having the 8th of February down at Canberra. We've nominated the Magna Carta place to basically have a picnic, a grand jury indictment picnic from 12 noon onwards. So, yeah, come along and join us. We're going to have a picnic and just catch up with some friends and see if you will require a grand jury indictment on the Australian government and the officialdom related to that. So what we've done now, we're just finishing off a flyer. Of course, we were the ones that were originally with the Freedom Rally that was going to happen over the Renewable Energy Farmers Freedom Rally. And all. So we were going to tag on the back end of that, but they've pulled the pin on that rally. And we have continued on. We haven't stopped at all. We've continued on, and developed some really good ideas that can help this nation. Yeah, pull its nose up before we just crash and burn.
100%. And to that end, the minds that were brought together over the weekend all had an opportunity without ego, can I say, without ego entering the room in any way, shape or form. It was wonderful. Have all had a way to form, in fact, what we're going to speak about tonight. And Mona, you guys have been working feverishly, I guess, for the last 24 or 48 hours on the document that we're about to put up. Now, would you like to explain what we're going to do, how we're going to talk people through this?
So good evening, everyone, and thanks for the opportunity. And I'm grateful and thankful to be part of this show and these two beautiful men and women. So where we're going to talk about, and as most of you know me, we've been serving fiduciary duty letters pretty much 1.5 years now. And especially last year in 2023, when we really went hard on the fiduciary duty letters all around basically New South Wales, Queensland, and in Victoria, and some other states as well, especially New South Wales. And some of you know me, some of you not. Basically, we started in the Supreme Court of New South Wales. I had actually a positive experience. So we know the justice system as of 14th of February 1966 operates as a de facto governmental agency that basically is there unelected judges and unelected magistrates. So there is no competent jurisdiction. Now, well, yes, and we know that they are operating as a foreign corporation, right? But in the meantime, they're acting as a public servant. Now, as a public servant, they got fiduciary duty and fiduciary responsibility as we are the single shareholder under the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act 1900, UK. And that's what I've basically been using. And I had a positive, great experience in 2 courts, actually, in New South Wales, the local court of New South Wales. I actually had it in family court as well. As a court observer, and in the Supreme Court of New South Wales, when we used basically very basic fiduciary duty letter, and Justice Kuntz, which I'm going to mention his name because with all due respect for that justice in the Supreme Court of New South Wales, who fully comprehended his fiduciary duty and fiduciary responsibility. All the way from the beginning till the end, he was impartial. He basically operated under consent, and he made sure that there will be fair justice. This was the first time, and I've had a couple of court observers with us who were actually with us in the court. I was as a Mackenzie friend, and that's basically last year I learned that in a positive way, yes, the fiduciary duty letter does work. They are public servants who are actually comprehending it, and they accepting it, and they know it. Of course, there is some, I can tell you, I can name and shame right now here if you wish to do so in the local court of New South Wales, which is my experience. I do have evidence, so it's not a defamation of character or anything like that. And I can tell you lawyers as well who actually, they breach their fiduciary duty big time. Okay, so that's registrars, and which I can go maybe later another time. I can go more into that. Yes, the system is very corrupted, unfortunately, and we got a fiduciary duty as a man and woman that we need to inform the public servants that here to serve us, right? You're making the money because of us. It all goes back to the birth certificate. So you are owning a fiduciary duty and fiduciary responsibility for the public, for the people, public and the people, we the people, to look after us. Okay, and this is that simple. We're not coming here to cause any harm, loss, or damage. We just want you to do your job properly. We are happy that where you are, just do your job properly. That's all. We're not coming here to do any dramas or anything like that, right? We're just here to basically inform you, and we got a duty to basically make sure that every single public servant in this country is going to do their job under fiduciary duty and under fiduciary responsibility. Every single public servant.
So what that means, it's in the document. People go, oh, what's fiduciary duty mean? Yeah, everyone's asking that. That's great, because we're going to outline it in the document that we're going to go through tonight and show you amazingly what it is. So once we hold them to task to this, we can say, oh, they have breached their fiduciary duty, but we have to show them what it is first, and we have to become aware of what it is first as well. So we all know what we're talking about, and we all know how they've breached it. Okay? And then we can create the indictment. That's how it relates to the grand jury indictment. If we find they've breached this, there's another thing we can indict them on. So it's getting that evidence, so it's a matter of people stepping up and doing this. So we're getting some yeses in the comments. I can see that. Thank you. That's great. So we'll have a document, and we'll have a read through it. It's very important. Don't think that we have to rush. It really has taken all weekend to construct the document and the pathway. This is not a simple matter. It's quite a complex, multiple steps matter, and this is one of the first steps is vital that we do, so that we can breach them on as this notice of fiduciary duty goes to them, we can then breach them on them not fulfilling their judiciary duty. And we actually have a duty, we have a fiduciary duty as well to inform them what they're doing. So we're all doing our job.
100%. So to begin at the top of the document, this is a submittable document that we're showing folks. So these are the people who have been noticed, if you like, on this particular document.
And what we've done for everyone, I'll just say, because you said this is a submittable one, that's right. This is the one that the people fill in. And we're going to also put available one that's complete and just show you how, if you want to write like upper and lower case and what you want to, how to autograph your name and just the idea of all that kind of stuff. We will have a completed one. We're just going to, bang these out over the next few days, because it's every 72 hours and Mona will run through that. They need to be served every 3 days, every 72 hours for 4 sessions, 4 times. And that really stitches up. So, and that is outlined on the document. So, it just starts as a normal document. You can take it from the top if you want.
And I just saw a comment. I just saw a comment, Mark Willen. Look, you might be targeted. In end of the day, and this is what I'm going to suggest. And again, everyone does whatever you want to do, guys. I done my petition of right back 2021. They tried to put me, in mental health and jail and all that stuff, the usual stuff. After I done my petition of right, they never tried to do this kind of stuff. They know, because I got a prima facie evidence. I got a forensic document. As of 14th of February 1966, this whole governmental system is operating a de facto. And this is one of the main reasons it's very peaceful. Because in end of the day, if they're operating as a public servant, it's no matter what. And I had numerous public servants from ATO, from New South Wales government, from Victoria government, from Queensland government, all different type of public servant. They admitted that they are owning a duty of care, which is part of the fiduciary duty. And numerous public servants, even when I talk to them over the phone, they know what is fiduciary duty. So this is one of the most simple document that I've in the last 5 years. I would say it's one of the most simple, the most easiest. And just remember, we got a duty. We haven't done making them accountable as of 1966. Thanks for COVID, right? A lot of men and women is actually waking up, and basically. Right. We know they don't have authority, and I agree with that, whatever you were commenting it, because they're operating as a foreign agency. I do have evidence about that one. They registered in America with CIK numbers, especially for New South Wales. I got a 9 pages document. Anyone wanted, I'm probably going to send it to you, Kyle, and you can upload it to your website, that they're actually operating as a registered Crown and Right New South Wales and the New South Wales Treasury Corporation in America, registered with the CIK numbers. Sullivan with Cromwell from New South Wales, Sydney, basically sent a letter back in 11 September 2009. So that's already, a huge evidence. Plus, if you go to the Security Exchange, you can see.
We've got it in the first edition.
Yeah. And yes, the Australian decimal currency, the metric measurements, the de facto governmental agencies been operating unlawfully as of 14th of February 1966. We never had the referendum. Anyone who's done the petition of right, that's your prima facie evidence. That's your forensic document that this so-called de facto governmental agency is operating unlawfully, and whatever they're doing, it's treason against us. Now, let's just stay in honor, okay? So let's just say, okay, we accept that you are a public servant, okay? Now, that's fine. We give you the respect. Please give us respect and do your job under fiduciary duty. If you wish to be a public servant, if you don't wish to be a public servant, then you can be the corporation. Then you need to provide them that ink signature. Then you need to provide the ASIC forms 402, 403, 404, 405, 4184, and the foreign registration statement, which is 7 pages instrument. Okay, so we can go in both ways. No worries. Choose your battles. Which one would you like? So we give you the choice. That's fine, So it's all good. Yeah.
It's all good. You're right. All right. Well, let's. I'm sort of down past the addressees of this document. So how do we want to go through this with people?
Can you just go up to the top, please? To the top.
Up to the top?
Yes, please. So I'm just going to explain a few things. And just remember, lovely men and women and we the people, it's a very, very, very simple document, okay? Everyone can comprehend it. You know what is duty of care. You know what is duty of loyalty, integrity. So it's simple. You cannot go any more simple. Now, basically, notice to the agents, notice to the principal, notice to the principal, notice to the agent. That's how we usually serve the instrument. And this is not private, it's public and it's transparent, open. And it's basically to inclusive all her successors. So what's happened if any of these public servant, whatever named here, done here, and they decide to leave, the next one who comes in, it's going to apply to them as well. Okay. Now, the file number, it's basically, it's going to be your initial. So just example, like my name, the name which I use in Facebook, okay, it's Mona Pamela. It's going to be MP, okay, your file number and the date. So you're going to choose, like example, if you're sending out today, it's going to be 20/01/2025. So it's going to be MP 20, like today's date, 20/01/2025, okay? And that's going to be your file number. Remember, okay, just in case later on, if you are in court and you want to subpoena this document, okay, you can actually subpoena. This is your own document, okay? And we're going to go through how many times you're going to send it out and so on and so on. It's always good to have your own instruments, documents. So I like to use instruments because documents is legalese, okay? Instruments is more lawful way. So we're dealing with legal and lawful. I prefer always use the plain, simple English, keep it simple as much as possible and spiritual. And this is called the Notice of Fiduciary Duty to all proclaimed public servants who are financed, employed by the Australian government in all capacities. And this is, we're talking about the Australian government. Yes, I know it's de facto Australian government. So 14th of February, 1966. I'm fully aware of that. I am holding the prima facie evidence. Okay, so I just want to let you know, all right? Anyway, I just cannot say that enough. But we're still showing respect to them. Okay, yeah. So doing
and we
this,
know they're a corporation. Remember we were talking about that? Yes. Why didn't we call them a corporation?
Yes,
because we've used the name that they used. And
yes. So. And we're dealing, you know, we're going to give them respect. We're going to give them opportunity, right? They've been doing all this, I have to be diplomatic. The all, how do you say that? Like, all been doing this, whatever they're doing, not in a lawful way. And, you know, they issuing all fake warrants and they try to arrest you and contempt of court and et cetera, right? It's all unlawful, right? They try to put you on the mental hearse because you write an affidavit, example, right? And you don't have maybe either strong standing or...
That's right. Yeah. See, we didn't elect these people in a nutshell.
Yes.
That's exactly
That's right. They've all been selected. There is no election. There is only selection, okay? Now, electoral law, that's another thing. Again, if you've done your petition of right, you can get off, and another way as well. All right, let's keep going. To all receivers and respondents, just would like to let you know we haven't finished this one completely. We're still going to update some more details all around the states in the Commonwealth of Australia. And we started basically with the High Commissioner of the Human Rights of the United Nations. Yes, I know the charity. Yes, but they still got a fiduciary duty. The International Court of Justice system. Yes, I know they're not the lawful court because the only lawful court we got would be the probate court, and that would be equity jurisdiction. When you walk in as a man and woman, not Mr. and Mrs. and whatever you want to call it, all right? You walk in as a man or woman. Now, keep going further. Stephen Kennedy, he's the Secretary Treasury. Obviously, he's owning fiduciary duty when we go and dealing with courts, especially their state, administering their state and so on and so on. Keep going forward. We got the Chief Financial Executive Officer, in Australian Financial Security. This is basically one of the agencies who are doing bankruptcy. They all unlawfully. That's another story which I'm going to have a chat with Carl and talk about it. Then we got... Yes, definitely. I'm up to number 5. We got the Human Rights Commissioner. Now, just quickly, I'm going to a little bit of information. As of last year, and I know a couple of men and women behind it, the Attorney General is been expanding Australia one. Mark Dreyfus, who is the Attorney General of Australia as we currently speak, he's been expanding his office, and we just got it the 2nd of December 2024. Chris Evans, who is the Anti-Slavery Commissioner, it's going to be somewhere here. We got Michael Yakesh, who is the Shadow Attorney General. We got Human Rights Commissioner Lauren Finlay. I think she's been replaced sometimes in 2023 in November. Then we keep going. We got Penny Wong, okay, Australian Minister for Foreign Affairs. And guys, just please, I know what these guys are doing. I'm fully aware of that, okay? You don't have to tell me who they are, how they act, what they do. I got plenty experience and I got plenty facts and evidence, okay? So I know that's okay. I still give them respect, okay? Because they got fiduciary duty. Our main issue and our main goal is giving them the chance. Here we go. There is the fiduciary duty. Now it's time to either change. We give you 4 chances with this fiduciary duty letter, or otherwise there will be further action taken. Okay. I believe every single man and woman deserve at least 2 or 3 chances, at least. Okay. And just going and using the Bible, right? What Jesus said. And I think this man and woman deserves it as well. Okay. Giving chances, and if they fail, goodbye. All right. And there is ways. And I think with doing the fiduciary duty, remember, becoming in peace. Okay. And this is very, very important. And I cannot say that enough. Okay. More bees with honey, more bees with honey. Yeah. Now, Chris Evans, Anti-Slavery Commissioner, just started the 2nd of December 2024. We never had Anti-Slavery Commissioner here in the country. This is the first one. We do have it in New South Wales, in Victoria, in Queensland. Western Australia doesn't have an Anti-Slavery Commissioner. I can't remember the other ones. So there's some of them we still need to find out the Anti-Slavery Commission is in other states, and some more details about some more public servants. Then we're going down to ICAC. ICAC is in New South Wales. It's basically the public servants and corruptions. Obviously, IBAC in Victoria, which we need to still edit. Then we got CCC corruption, that's in Queensland. Then we have, we keep going down, National Anti-Corruption. Okay, NACC is very important. It's only dealing with public servants who are committing corruption or misconduct in office or malfeasance all around in the country. You can report it. They deal with public servants. Same with ICAC as well. Whatever state you are, ICAC, IBAC, CCC, they're dealing with basically with corruption. Then we got the strata associations. So this is another thing with stratas. We do have a lot of issues, and they collecting contributions. How can you force a contribution? Yeah. So New South Wales is the Strata Management Act 2015. Yeah, another act and legislation. Anyway. All right, keep going further. We got Michael Tidwell. He's the Secretary of Department of Communities and Justice. He's in New South Wales. Okay, he's basically responsible for the whole justice system in New South Wales. Then we got James Cochrane, who is the Anti-Slavery Commissioner in New South Wales. Michael Allen is the Chief Magistrate of New South Wales. He's got a fiduciary duty, and basically every single public servant. Remember, we have the biggest problem in the courts because they just keep pushing slavery, identity theft, they're pushing the personage, the barratry. And another thing, we got the lawyers, mainly the lawyers are pushing it. And I'm going to tell you one thing. I felt sorry for the justice or the magistrate because what they have to deal with that. And I know a story as well when the prosecutor in Queensland made the magistrate to go under mental health because that magistrate didn't follow what the prosecutor said. That's how they are, and that's how some of them how much power they got. Okay, so keep going forward. And this is one of the reasons. And I know judges, I know magistrates who are actually waiting for you guys to put them on fiduciary duty and make them to do their job under fiduciary duty because they cannot have conflict of interest, okay? There are people who are waiting for us, okay? And there will be a lady who works for the human resource. I'm not going to name which state. She works actually for the human resources, okay? And when I mentioned that I've been doing this fiduciary duty letter, She just said, keep going. What are you doing? That's amazing. Don't stop. And this is from a public servant, okay? And I know they're waiting for us. And they want us to keep making them accountable. I had public servants told me just down in the bottom, I'm just following orders, and up in the top who are responsible what's happening, okay? So these public servants are admitting it. I talked to sheriff, I talked to police, I talked to in the courts, you know, and I met with a lot of beautiful public servants who know they're dirty, but they're all up in the top. So you need to, that's one of the reasons. And they just lose their job if they do anything, wouldn't they? If you don't do it, you might going to lose your job. Exactly, or God knows what's going to happen. Okay, keep going forward. So I'm just going to share a couple of experiences. So just any of you feel like, oh my God, what's going to happen now? Don't worry about it. This is simple. You're coming in pace. You're not pushing them. Okay, you just want them to do their job. That's it. We're not asking anything else, right? So then we got the Secretary of Education Department. So you can go through. We got all the police commissioners all around the states. We got the Governor Generals, all the states. We got the premiers all around the states. We got the Privy Council from UK as well. We do have the Clerk of the Parliament again from UK. We got the EFP Commissioner, the Queensland Treasury Commission, all the treasuries from all the states, of course. Governors from the states. So we basically be going state and federal. As I mentioned, we still haven't finished all the email addresses. Some of them, like, Supreme Court Justice, all main ones. The justices, like the Supreme Court justices, the Chief Magistrate, all the states, High Court, okay, because the High Court as well is responsible. The Family Court, I haven't put the Family Courts, but they will be put there as well.
We will be putting them there.
Because the Family Courts are the most corrupted courts, and plus the probate courts, if they're dealing with the deceased estate as well. Okay, I've seen it again. So I've seen a lot of corruption, guys. I never thought, being Hungarian and born in Romania, I've seen a lot of corruption from the bottom till the top. I've seen envelopes, okay. I lived in communism for 10 years. So if I've seen corruption, I've seen corruption. But I have to tell you one thing, I see more corruption here. And I got heaps of evidence. Wow. So it's very sad, and it is what it is.
Mona,
and that's yes.
Kurt has a question there. He'd like you to answer if you could. Please explain how this stands if the person receiving this stands under the corporation and not under the constitutional law.
Okay, so the person is basically a dead fictitious entity. They want you to be the person, okay, and when we actually putting them on notice, like we're putting them as we the people, as a beneficiary. Remember, beneficiary give instruction, give order, and give directions. Okay, you have to do it through paperwork. So I've been in court so many times. Okay, so I've been over 200 times over as a witness, and been just for my court cases over 70 times. I've done all that type of different stuff. I told them off and all that stuff, right? We need to keep the pressure 100%. And this is one of the reasons we have to do this fiduciary duty letter. Now, they want us to be the person, okay? Every single time you're in the court. And I have Michael MCTEGG registrar, right? And I know he's watching my lives, okay? Because how he talks like, you told me, I know you follow some Americans, etc., etc. That was straight away, yes, okay, I know. He told me, if you're not the person, I cannot deal with you. And I told him, I'm the private person, protected person. Hang up the phone. Okay, didn't want me to go to court. They just want me to be on the phone. Crazy stuff I have done. I'm not going to suggest you to do it. All right, but again, and I had exactly Chief Magistrate, Teo Tatsavidis. He's still the Deputy Chief Magistrate in New South Wales. In 2023, 26th of June, 2023. Anyone who Glenn Short, he's one of my freedom warrior friends as well, as I have numerous men and women around this country who's done absolutely amazing job in courts. We were in court. I was an observer. He got arrested in one of my court cases because he come and stand anyway. And when the Chief Magistrate said, if you're not the person, you are free to go. And he said it again. He done with this me back 4 years ago, 2021, sorry. So that's 4 years ago. I didn't get it. Okay, that was in my beginning of my journey in court. And when he said it again, I could see like, oh, finally I got it. You're not the person. You're free to go. The case got dismissed anyway. But we needed to make sure that we go through, there is a process anyway, which is another subject we're going to talk about. Let's go back to the fiduciary duty. I could talk about a whole 39 pages document about the courts for 3 years, 4 years. I haven't wrote anything about last year. I should, but that's another story. Okay, fiduciary duty.
Yeah,
I got God. I got God, darling.
Do you want to work as one?
Yeah, you can. I got God. God is with me. I'm doing God's work. Anything I do, I know God is protecting me, and I know this is one of my mission. And I had a dream as well, which I haven't talked about that, but I will tell you in the show. This year, my mission is I have to make sure every single public servant is going to be served with the fiduciary duty letter. It's very peaceful. It's peaceful, guys. And just remember, we're coming in peace. We're not here to destroy the government, okay? We just want them to do their job under fiduciary duty and responsibility. That's it. We're coming in peace, and this is important, okay? Oh, yeah. Without God, you cannot succeed. And I've seen that unexperienced at the age 5. I've been, I believe in God. So I know it's a lot of times I was saved by God. So, yeah. And look, I love a lot of public servants, and I'm having good, beautiful chats as well. And I respect even the police, no matter what they have done 4 years ago with me. Anyway, I have to say thank you for them that where I'm today. Thanks for the New South Wales Police, okay? So I have to say thank you, because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't do this what I'm doing today, all right? Now, let's go back. So fiduciary duty, and this is for all the public servants. Remember, as I mentioned, we're coming in honor, and this is basically to instruct you. Again, we instruct, we order, and we direct as a beneficiary, and becoming in peace, okay? The system, because it's everything is that they can see the paper, they cannot see the living man and the living woman, we the people, okay? But they got a fiduciary duty to act in the best interest of us. So fiduciary duty for public servants, and there is ethical, legal, lawful responsibility to perform the best interest of we. Now you can see anyway we got let it be known we. You have to put your the full name. Now we're gonna have an example which I sent you as well before. That again you have to choose. Do not put all caps, please, because that's the deceased estate. So anytime you use the all caps name, that's the deceased estate. If you use how we put it up, like capital J, then you John, or small caps, then you put James with a capital J, and the rest is small. Then you put S with the upper lowercase. Sorry. Usually this is the bond servant. Okay, if you look up the judicial notice with consent for silent slave trading, you can actually find it there as well. How do you write your name? There's 3 different types. How you can write it down. I usually like to write it all caps. Mona Pamela.
I just opened the sample, the jury sample, and that's the other one, and it doesn't seem to show a name in there either. So I don't have it.
Again, it doesn't matter. We'll just keep working through this document.
We're gonna send you example.
We'll send you the example one.
I'm gonna send you the example one in just a second. Give me a second.
So what this document is doing, it goes through numerological with numbers 1 down through to 11. They're duties. They're really basic duties, which is what Mona keeps saying. So we're holding all public servants, because this covers all the public servants. It's not limited to a range of ethical and legal and lawful. They're responsibilities. So this is what we're saying, that we are holding them accountable for this. So the first one, of course, is duty of care. All public servants are expected to perform your duties in a lawful legal manner with due diligence, competence and prudence, such as making well-informed and lawful decisions based on careful consideration for all relevant information and potential impacts. And for example, that is abuse of power using judicial office for personal gain or to favour certain parties. So we give them an example of what would be a breach of that duty of care. And we're putting our names to each individual things. And number 2, did you want to put number 2 up? We've got
just send you the example.
I sent you the flyer. That's good. We will be talking about that. So this is the prelude to the jury.
Yeah, I'll just have to drop that one out for a second.
Yeah.
And dump that one and get a new one to share.
With the name already filled out.
Example 1.
The example one, yeah.
Oh, you just emailed that one to me, did you?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the second one's simple as well. I'll just keep reading. You'll all be able to see it. You'll all hopefully get a copy and fill it out. And
I got
shovel
one
it
called sample and one called submittable, and that's all I've got.
Try the sample one because that should have the sample names.
I'll send you just now the example one. It's called the example.
And number 2 is their duty of loyalty. So all public servants must prioritise we, the people, but you say we and then you put your name there. The benefit, and we are the beneficiary and creditor. They must prioritise our interests above, we're talking to them, so we do it in like first person, above your personal and private interests, performing diligently and upholding loyalty to the people and our interests. So we require a certain amount of loyalty to us. So that's number 2. Is, you know. Do you want to speak to number 3?
We just have issues to uploading the example one. I don't know what's going on.
That's all right. Well,
anyway,
it'll be on the site. Number 3 we're up to.
Yeah, duty of integrity.
Yeah.
So all public servants must conduct themselves with honesty and integrity, avoiding any behavior that might undermine your full name. Again, you decide how you want to write it. As I mentioned, that's how I write it with all small caps because that's the free woman. The beneficiary creditors' confidence. All public servants must conduct themselves in a manner to prevent any possible corrupt practices, such as possible forgeries, default judgments, example, not signing the document, bogus court orders, possible fraud, and any possible form of potential unethical conduct. If you as a receiver respondents are in knowledge of any crimes, misconduct, malfeasance, again, that's when they put them when you put them on fiduciary duty, right? And they still commit misconduct and malfeasance for the personal gain, like example, they rule against you in the court without evidence because there is no material evidence most of the times. The brief of evidence is not the full unredacted evidence, okay? It's all fabricated, manipulated, and they actually charging the estate. They're not charging the woman or the man because they don't have authority anyway. They're dealing with the deceased estate, and this is one of the reasons I was mentioning about the probate court. The only court we can go, that's the probate court, Supreme Court, and that's equity jurisdiction. It is legal, lawful, a duty to report all events to the Australian Federal Police, Anti-Corruption Academy email, where the email address is there, and the Corruption Whistleblower. Just remember, we do have the Anti-Corruption Academy Facebook group. Most of the members, they have done the petition of right. Now, any of you who is basically feel threatened that you're going to be targeted or anything like that, then I strongly suggest you join to the Anti-Corruption Academy and do your petition of right. If you do have this kind of fear or feeling, okay, it's a great protection. Okay, we got men and women who's been breaching bail conditions because you're traveling without license and registration and they stop you and bail conditions 6-time breach and they try to jail you. They cannot do it, okay? This guy's got the petition of right. The another one is the Corruption Whistleblower newspaper email address, okay, info@corruptionwhistleblower.com. I strongly suggest you to report them all, okay, email and to the AFP as well. And AFP is going to be on fiduciary duty as well. They are owning fiduciary duty for us as a public servant to do their job accordingly. Again, I strongly suggest you, anytime you're dealing with any public servant, every time and every single time, have one fiduciary duty letter and hand it to them. Give it to them with love and just keep going every single time. There is no day that I don't use the fiduciary duty letter. I can tell you that. Okay?
I can tell you, Kirk, that's not possible at all. Okay, that's already been dealt with.
Yes, and they're very aware. There's a lot of public servants are aware of that. Okay, a lot of men and women been using the fiduciary duty already all around the country. Okay, all right. Duty of confidentiality. All public servants must maintain the confidentiality of sensitive information obtained in the course of your duties. You, as a respondents, must not disclose or misuse such an information for personal gain or the detriment of the beneficial creditor interest, not limited to breach of privacy and Privacy Act 1988. Just remember, Revenue New South Wales, Service New South Wales, they keep sending your details back and forward. Breach of privacy, lawyers, counsels, giving out your details to a lawyer, third-party interlopers. there's no consent, they're breaching privacy. Okay, Privacy Act 19. So any third-party interloper, prosecutor, whatever, who is this, if you don't have the consent, that's breach of privacy. Okay, they should be reported to Privacy Commissioner, by the way, and so on, and Law Society, whatever you're dealing. Duty of fairness: all public servants are obligated to perform fairly, impartially in your interactions with the we, again, full name, the beneficiary creditors, such as personage, barratry, slavery, citizenship, authorities, or any bias or prejudice behavior that allows possible personal biases or prejudice to influence your decisions. Very good example: police stops you, they're trying to push slavery. Did you speak? Because you're speeding, or you're going, or you're parking, when you're not causing any harm, loss, or damage, and they try to get your person, your license. That's personage, that's barratry, it's slavery, and so on and so on. Coercion, intimidation, harassment, forcing contracts to activate the trust. They got all conflict of interest because the money, they're dipping into their estate, the deceased estate, which is the trust, which goes back to your birth certificate. So it's always money. And that's the reason the fiduciary duty is example, very, very important, because even when you've been going onto the court, they want to prosecute you. Where's the harm, loss, or damage? Where's the victim? Bring the injured party. Where is it? Okay.
But because we've got no law here, they just steamroller over a lot of that stuff, and still, people get charged. So this is, again, it's just doing this prelude document before we propose to the people when they come down on the 8th of February, whether they would like to indict the Australian government, or do they think that they're fine and dandy, and then that people wouldn't indict them. But if people can see that they're breaching these fiduciary duties and have breached many in the past, then we've got quite a list of charges, which is actually on the upcoming flyer for you to be able to peruse, and evidence around those charges. So it's something that internationally, people have been waiting for this. People here have been waiting for this. Many people have been waiting for, really, the Australian government to be indicted. So this is just the prelude to it. I know we're labouring on it a bit, and it is a very important document. And this is the prelude to show the crime. Get it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So the next, number 7, duty to uphold the law. All public servants must comply with all applicable proper laws. Okay, I can guarantee that sometimes I feel like we are in a no man's land. Okay, and I've been serious. It's easier sometimes to deal with mafia than with this so-called governmental agency. And again, I'm talking about experience. Okay, because at least the mafia, they got rules and regulation and they stick to it. All right, you make a deal and they stick to it. All right, this goes back 20 years. Okay, so that's what's overseas, not here. All right. But they got at least rules and regulation and they stick to it now. But here, sometimes I feel like we're in no man's land. Again, there are public servants who know their duty. Okay, so it's not all of them. I can tell you a couple of good magistrates, in New South Wales, Queensland, and Victoria, because that's So, and we have to give them credit. Just remember, not just always complain. Give them credit. Okay, make sure you mention their name, that because they're doing a job. We had the family court. From Rockhampton Family Court, the judge who actually apologized last year in behalf of the Family Court of Australia. God bless her. Okay. Number 7.
They don't do that often.
No, you don't hear that often, do you?
No, you don't hear that often. I can't remember her name. I'm really sorry. I thought I'm going to get her because I want to start putting them as a compliment that they are good judges. They are good magistrates who are doing good job. Like, magistrates court, Brad Thomas from Sutherland Court. He's been a good magistrate. We got Holly Camp after a judicial complaint. He's been good. She's been good. Sorry, not he. She. Sorry. Then I can remember. There's another one. Anyway, let's go further. Sorry, I get sidetracked.
You do.
You as a receiver respondents must ensure that your actions and decisions are lawful, legal, approved by electors and at any referendum. Now, this is, again, we're going to have a challenge there, right? And promote and enforce the rule of law. Okay, here you go, rule of law. This is from a Supreme Court judge back in 2020 or 2021. It was in, I think, the rule of law. You can look it up. I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. It's on YouTube. And she talks about the rule of law, how the Supreme Court and every single court should uphold the rule of law. And when you go to court, they don't speak your language. And this is from a judge who actually admitted they speak in a different language. It's like they're speaking Chinese. Same with the police stops you, understand, you're standing under the system and so on. Everything is contract, right? When they try to trap you in the contract. Duty to be transparent and accountable. All public servants must be transparent in your actions and decisions, providing clear and full accurate disclosure, especially when you get a brief of evidence. That's not full disclosure. You need the bench notes as well, yeah? To be beneficial creditors, so you need to put your full name, obviously. Anytime you got this empty space, that's your full name when you got the V. Okay, we're going to have the example uploaded as well so you can actually compare it. To relevant authorities, you as receiver respondents are held for your actions accountable for your decisions and use of all resources, such as failure to disclose information, meaning hindering, failing to disclose relevant information and no retaining evidence. Yeah. And this is happening again. I could tell you samples. As I mentioned, I've been in court so many times. I've seen that. I experienced that. Okay, that these guys, they sometimes... they do it by purpose because it's all conflict of interest. If the courts actually rule against you, they're getting mortgage-backed based securities as well. Okay? Yeah, all right. So keep going. Fiduciary duty for promote the trust. All public servants must perform in honest and authentic manner for the benefits of the beneficiary creditor trust. Duty to avoid conflict of interest. All public servants must avoid any personal, financial, or interest that could in conflict with your official duties, such as judges, magistrate, ruling, and court commission royalties. That's what I was talking about when they rule against you. They're all getting commission. All public servants must disclose any potential conflict of interest and take appropriate steps to mitigate and eliminate possible injury, harm to the beneficial creditor. Again, courts are one of the best examples. They're all employed by the state, the prosecutor, and the magistrate, and your estate, which is created by the state. Huge conflict of interest, okay? There's no full disclosure because they're dealing with the deceased estate. It should be. Again, fiduciary duty. They have to disclose it, right? If they are under fiduciary duty, they have to. Yeah. Duty to be ethical, all public servants must
They're literally banking on us not knowing what fiduciary duty means, let alone holding them to it. That's what it seems to me, that they're banking on us and on our ignorance, on our ignorance.
Yes. Yes, that's right. And that we're not going to hold them to task. So they're very much thinking on that we are just going to keep going on or just turning up to protests and going home or anything like that. This is why this paperwork's not just a protest. It's not just anything. It's a matter of getting this kind of paperwork in so that we are holding them to account on paper. And then this is why the lovely picnic day is going to be amazing, because then we'll be taking it to the next level with the grand jury. And then thus, if the people decide to indict them, we will be serving them the official documents in the proper manner that you serve documents. We use the service, what are they called again? The service...
affidavit of service.
Yeah, we'll do an affidavit of service. So we'll do all the proper service documents. And then we can go on to the trial, which, is going to be sometime in March, probably around the same place. We need to hold a trial for these people, of course. So this is just this is stepping.
Yeah,
and then we hold a trial for them. And then we see what happens after that, because we've got a lot of people interested in overseas coverage, everything interested in the 8th of February and the trial, the upcoming trial. So again, this is just the prelude to all of that. So bear with us. Thank you.
Now, this document is going to be available to download off the VOFHQ.com website. I'm not sure. Vince is in another meeting at the moment. I've emailed them through to him. He will put them up, I'm sure, as soon as he possibly can. I haven't looked to see if he's actually done it while he's in his other meeting, but I'll have a quick glance and see if...
No, you're right. Because that's pretty much if we just want to finish it off.
Indeed.
If we can just finish the last page, and then we can talk about it.
Some very important bombshells right at the end of it. So if you did notice that in one of the sections, I think it was 8, where it talked about referendums.
Yeah, the last.
So when we're talking about referendums and this notice of fiduciary notice, we go down a little bit further to the bottom. We have got annexures which clearly define the Section 128 of the Constitution, Royal Styles and Titles Act of 1973, the Australia Act 1986, and then we've got the referendum dates and results. So it's going to be very difficult for these people receiving this fiduciary notice to comply with any of that. And I mean, it is deadly. So don't underestimate what's in this form. It's been very eloquently constructed over the weekend by many smart brains in the room and experience. And as you can tell, Mona's had many years of experience and many experiences in the courts, but don't underestimate where it talks there about referendums in Section 8, I think it was, and where it outlines. So we're giving them notice by those electronic links there that that's their fiduciary duty. And where you see it says the Australia Acts and the Queen of Australia, Royal Styles and Titles Act, it clearly defines there that it's treason and fraud on the electors. So I just want you people watching this show how potent this thing is when they go to try and comply with that, and what's actually going to happen on February the 8th when we ask the population who will be voting in potentially the largest grand jury potentially the world's ever seen. If we get 5,000 or 10,000 down there all participating, and we all choose as a living man and women group of living Australians to choose to indict, well, where can they go? Really, where can they go? So in the end, that date's going to be a summary judgment. So it'll be based on the documents and their potential refusal to act proper, I'll use the word proper, under this fiduciary notice. I don't believe there's any way out. And so once we get to that date, we'll then have the evidence on all the names that are in there.
Yeah.
So this document, while being able to be downloaded, you want people to be interactive with this. You want people to be behind it.
Absolutely, we want people to be interactive with it. So what we're asking the people to do, so we can have as many people that have sent this off to the email addresses in there, to notify them of their fiduciary breaches or fiduciary duties, and then therefore, really under the current system, it's a stalemate for them, or not a stalemate. It's very difficult for them to complete these fiduciary duties because they're all under Queen of Australia, Royal Styles and Titles Act, or now the Queen or the King of Australia, which we all know there isn't one. And it was mentioned to me the other day that the King came down here, went into the old Parliament building. I'm not a witness to the knowing, so I am, however, repeating what somebody said to me, but I do believe that this would be true. Went in there and said, well, there's no subjects here because they've all been made citizens. So, so it's basically slavery. So once we serve this notice and we start to get close to the date of February the 8th, that's what we're asking people to do in the next couple of days, to download this form, sign it or autograph it, and put your thumbprint on it, your red thumbprint on it, and
write your name in it.
Write your name in it, put your thumbprint on it, autograph it, and email it to all the email lists that are on the top of the document.
So we're going to send another file out to you, Carl. So they can just basically grab that file and it'll be all these guys on the document. It'll be
copy paste.
So they'll put that into the field, send to, copy it all in. It's a great list to have anyhow.
Yes.
So you copy all that in, and there's a process of doing it 4 times to really cover our bases.
Every 72 hours. This is very important.
Every 3 days.
Yeah.
Get it done at least 4 times, okay? And make sure, like how I do it, okay? And I've been doing this for a while, and I know the number 4 is very important because sometimes they say, oh, I haven't got it. Or next time they say, oh, it's whatever it's happened, because I've done a lot of times 4 complaints. You complain once, they don't do nothing. You do it second time, third time, they don't do nothing. Then you do it 4th time because they don't want you to keep coming back. They want you to stop being consistent and resistant. The only way that you can actually win with these guys, if you're being persistent and consistent, because they want you to give up. And I've seen that. And like the stuff they have done with me last year, someone was told me, asked me if I would like to.
Wasn't the fourth time it seals it? Like the three
notice
times.
of acceptance by acquiescence, by silence.
It nails that one.
And that's basically the 4 times.
Yeah.
And it is important. And how I do it, sorry, that's what I was going to say. So you send out the email, there's electronic serving, which we're going to put it up, electronic serving about the fiduciary duty. In 72 hours, you're going to forward, right? So you're forwarding that email and copy paste again the email addresses. So you're going to have a tracking, and just keep going the tracking. Yeah. So you're going to have the tracking. Now, we're going to ask you to send a hard copy to the Attorney General of Australia, Mark Dreyfus, because he's basically the main boss for the legal system. He's the chief commissioner, basically, for the whole legal system. And it's his job as his fiduciary. He is supposed to actually inform all the parties, especially the court. We got the main issues with the courts. Everything is basically all around the courts. And, you know, guys, they're making $1 trillion per day around the world with the court system because it's all about the securities trading, the birth certificate. And, so there is, which is filled out. Okay, let's give you the sample.
That's the sample one.
Yes.
So can we just go into...
So this is the one we'll make available for download. So people just need to replace John James Smith with...
Yes.
Well, we've given the blank one to download. So you'd keep this one just for on screen for the sample, and we'd make it the one with the blank space. We'd make that the downloadable interactive one for them to print off, write it in, type it in first, then they can print it off, sign it off, you know, put their thumbprint on
autograph,
it. Autograph it off with their thumbprint, preferably, you know.
Autograph. It's very important when you autograph, you clearly put your name. Do not use all caps. And if you use your thumbprint, only put it on your first name and middle name. Do not touch the legal name, the family name, or the last name, because then you create the joinder. Okay, so separate. Thumbprint only on your first name, middle name, no another way. Just be aware of that. This is very important. Okay, especially when you got, you know, John James Smith. Do not touch that one. The all caps. All caps is the dead. As you go to the cemetery, you can see how they write it. It's dead, deceased, that's
But that's where you do write it in all caps.
Autograph and handwritten. Handwrite the dates. Always put down January. Do not put 01 again, because it all goes back to the Roman law and Vatican stuff. Put it down 20 of January 2025 or whatever date you put down, and autograph and thumbprint and scan it. And then you send it. And just please see attached my fiduciary duty letter. Now, when you're sending it 4 times,
it has to be a chain of emails.
Yes.
And on the last email where you send it 4 times, then we'll be providing you a email address that you can BCC us in on the last one. So we will collect all the evidence. And so what I think would probably be the smartest thing to do, if we wrote up just an instruction page and we can put it on your web page. So that way the instructions become very clear. And then we'll also provide that email address for the viewers. So, but in the meantime, let's get everybody off signing, get it started off, signing that thing and dating it and thumbprinting it, then forwarding it onto the email list, onto that's on the document. So that'll be the first one. So you need to do that every 72 hours for 4 times, and then on the last one. So by the time we get the email address tomorrow for you to BCC it in, people will only probably have done their first one if they're quick. But we want to get as many of these done as we can.
Everyone should do it.
Absolutely.
Everyone who cares about this country.
Before the grand jury indictment process commences. So really, absolutely. These people need to take off with this document potentially on Thursday or Friday. Just absolutely Friday at the latest, but get it going, because by the time we go 72-hour process 4 times, we'll be right up to that stage, and then we'll collect the evidence.
So essentially, it's a 12-day process. You send it, you wait 72 hours, you send it again, you wait 72 hours, you send it again. So So if people
you
want
would
to be
look at, so there's all the evidence is there that you've sent it and they've received it. Yes. And just follow the instructions through the video through this video, but we'll also post up this example on the website
so that people can scroll through it or download it. And we'll make the interactive version also downloadable, and you'll be able to.
And and we'll also provide you with a small letter of instruction, so it becomes real easy to follow, and you shouldn't be able to make any mistakes. We all know how to send emails in chains, and then obviously those instructions will show you where the email address is that you can forward us the last copy.
And this is one of the simple fiduciary duty letters I have ever seen. So I got 7 pages, 9 pages. This is one of the most simple, because we want as many as possible, and this is basically basic, and it tells you everything. Anyone who is actually, you want to stand up for your rights, you should have this letter in your car, in your automobile. Sorry, not your car, in your automobile. And every single public servant should get this fiduciary duty letter. Every single one.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Somebody, I think it was Kang, asked if we can share this. So I'm going to share this link in the.
Cool. We'll probably end up making a pack. We'll probably end up making like a little, kind of a pack for it. So it'll have the instruction. We might try and do a quick edited down 2-minute version of a run through on the video.
Yes.
We'll be able to do that and flick it through to you. Yeah. So we'll just do like a 2-minute version of this is how you fill it out, blah, blah, blah. Or they can watch this extended version if they want, but everyone wants stuff streamlined. So we'll do a small version. We'll send through instructions on paper. We'll send through the 2 documents, the example document and the document that you submit. Of course, don't give them the sample document, please, with some other guy's name on it. Please make it your own. Because what we're doing, we're showing that we can come out from under their guardianship and manage our own affairs. That's what we're doing, because they've got us under this ridiculous guardianship. So, we're stepping out from underneath all of that and showing that we can manage our affairs. So
now there is also
the flyer up.
Keep going,
if you could just put that flyer up for the.
Oh, sure. Give me one
event,
moment.
Please.
Let me just dig it out again.
So it's on the 8th of February, down at basically across from the old Parliament House. It's the grand jury indictment. We will. Supposedly, the people who do send this form in and do hold the notice.
Original. They've got to hold the original too. Let's not forget that.
Yep.
So you'll only be scanning.
Keep the original. Yeah.
Correct. And keep the original.
So the ones who have done this and have done this form, we've been informed that they can't actually be in the jury. So we need people to be there in the jury. So we'll be saying this is what we've done, and we'll be explaining their charges, which is written on the flyer. But what do you want to say, something?
Well, you're talking about the second event now. When it becomes a grand jury indictment, it's an assembly of the people, and those people who have signed those documents, as far as I'm concerned, can take part in the grand jury indictment process. But what Donna's trying to say is those who are taking part in the indictment process, so if they turn up on those days as jurors or the assembly to sign that indictment form, then they can't be jurors on the time of the trial.
Yeah. So because the first event is the to see if the people are going to call for a grand jury indictment on the Australian government employees, which is everyone who's employed by them, of course. So you can see where it is. It's at 12 o'clock. It's at the Magna Carta Place, which is across from the old Parliament House. And we're just saying, turn up if you want. We just go to a picnic. We're not got permit stuff or anything. We're not going, we're not asking them for permission. Sorry, we're not asking them for permission. We're just having a picnic.
Bring a blanket. Bring a blanket. Bring a sandwich.
Yep, exactly right. Come and hang out with
go
your
for
friends.
a walk around the lake afterwards. It's beautiful.
Oh, lovely. Sounds great. So it's a call to action. Let's make history. If you love your country, your children, your grandchildren, your family, community, come on down if you care at all. And it is a peaceful event, like we've said, and we'll be just having a chat about what people think and running basically a grand jury, just like that.
Now, you mentioned the people who involve themselves with the not documents.
The indictment process.
Can't be involved in the jury process going forward. Now, we are going to need a lot of jurors at some point. And we'll talk about this going forward, not necessarily tonight, but this process is the beginning point. So let's get a bit excited about this. Now, the more the merrier when it comes to people downloading this information and being part of this as far as we're concerned. It doesn't matter if you don't wish to be part of the jury going forward, and this doesn't, stick you in any kind of particular box or put you in any particular kind of danger because you've decided to join and be involved in just asking for those that are responsible for us in our government and even right down to local council level. Remember that they are duty bound, fiduciarily duty bound to we the people, and we
and
have
also not only fiduciary bound. Let's not forget the most important thing, that they're bound to act in the correct and proper manner, which is not the Royal Styles and Titles Act of 1973, nor the Australia Act of 1986. This is where they're really going to get themselves into a huge knot. And therefore, if they keep going after they receive the fiduciary notice, then there's your evidence for the indictment.
Yeah. I fear we'll have a few people like Craig. I can't do it. They're all guilty.
Yeah.
How do we
so
fight
this is the process. You're exactly right, because this is the process for us to fairly show that publicly. We have to show that fairly. We know they are correct. So we're just doing a paper trail so that we can prove it and show it. And we will be telling the international courts what we're doing. Like I said, we've got quite a lot of overseas attention already from just the few pamphlets that we've put out. So we are very much doing an overseas outreach because, people see what's happening here. And maybe if we go forward, New Zealand, other people can mimic it, and do it for their nation as well. So we do ask that people come down initially on the 8th of February to Canberra. We'll see you there. We'll have a picnic and have a chat how we can all move forward. And thank you so much, Carl, for having us on here and allowing us the time and space to explain that very pertinent document. Like Ramona said, that you can have it in your car and have it with you. They don't like, being held, the light of day shone on them. They don't like it. So we know they know, and they know we know they know.
And just one more thing, I did just a little bit look at the comments, and I've been seeing a couple of negative comments, but that's okay, guys. Look, I'm just going to share my experience, okay, as I mentioned, and I've been doing this for 2 years, the fiduciary duty letter. And I'm going to tell you, you say it once, twice, it's probably not going to work. You're going to be kicked, okay? You need to be consistent, you need to be persistent, and you need to know what you're doing. So make sure you do comprehend the paperwork. I've seen men and women who's been tested in the court because they used the fiduciary duty letter. Okay, and I've seen lawyers changing 180 degree. I've seen judges, I've seen magistrates changing, okay, because they got the fiduciary duty letter. The judges, lawyers, solicitors, all doctors, they all got fiduciary duty. And I'm telling you what, there are a lot of them, they even know it, especially lawyers, okay? So, and they don't like it, baristas. They are fully aware of that. But the problem, the issue is, a challenge. Let's put it this way. I don't like to use negative words, okay? And if you believe it's not going to work, guess what? It's not going to work. But if you believe it's going to work, and I believe it's working, okay, because I've seen that. I had 80 public servant told me last year, if you want the change, you need the people. This is from ATO, an ATO public servant. You want the change, you need the people. You need to act. They even know their fiduciary duty, okay? And this is what it goes back. It's simple. It's not that hard. We just need, and of course, another thing which is important, we need to stay in honor. And I know even for me, sometimes it's a challenge because I've seen a lot of corruption, a lot of fraud, a lot of deception, and so on and so on and so on, which I could talk about it. And that's going to be another show, which we're planning with Carl for a while to do it. And I will come and talk about it because I got documents, I got evidence, I got reports. Okay, but you just need to keep going. They want to stop you, and they will try to do everything. And we all three of us can tell you a lot of stories. Okay, one thing they don't want, they want us to stop. No, just keep going. Never ever give up. And just remember the reason why we're doing it It's for the future, for a generation. We just want them to do the job. We're not asking too much. We don't even ask money right now. We're just asking them to do their job. That's all we're asking. We're not coming right now. We're not doing commercial lean. That's going to be done later in the track, which you can do. And I know some men and women does it. Okay.
Yeah.
So together, united we stand and divided we fall. And this is true and accurate, 100%.
Yeah, relying on us to give up.
That's what they're relying, and they're hoping, see, this one's going to happen, this one's going to. Just do something, just do step by step, and that's how we're going to go. You do a little bit today, tomorrow, get together, open up your community, support each other, because when they start one target, they target, have your community. Community is very important. Back up each other. Someone goes to court, get them fiduciary duty on that magistrate, or get 20 or 30. You watch out what's going to happen and do it with the prosecutors. Court cases, do it with the counsel. You watch out. If we 100 times, they're going to get that email in 72 hours. You watch out what's going to happen. 1 not going to change, 2 not going to change, 10 not going to change. But when they get 20, 30, 40, oh yeah, it's definitely.
And not only that, we have the evidence on them then. So we could simply run the grand jury on the Section 128 of the Constitution, the Royal Styles and Titles Act, the Australia Act, and the referendum results. But what this does is this nails the evidence right down and makes them all guilty if they don't start complying with the acts that are valid, which aren't the acts that I just mentioned. And that's going to send the thing into tailspin.
And we've actually got a section in this form that if they'd like to share what the crimes they've seen, or they can share them with the AFP, the Anti-Corruption Academy, and the corruption whistleblower, so that we can, we're quite happy for them to come and chat with us about what they have seen and see how that goes. So we've given them an actual way forward for that. So
and just one more last thing.
This is the way forward. This fiduciary duty document, you present that to the court. You present that to every member of the court. And
you can, but remember, this action here now is not only to invite the people to use that for their own defence in any matter, but this matter here, we'd like to see at least 150 or 200 people send that in. Send us the chain of emails, because now we haven't just got those acts that I said before, the Royal Styles and Titles Act, the Australia Act, the referendum results, and Section 128. We've now got the evidence that they've been sent it and they're continuously moving forward. So it gives them what's called mens rea, which is a guilty mind, because you have to prove that in a court of law if you want to start filing serious major indictable offences. You can't just say, oh, well, you took part in it, and they say, oh, well, I didn't know, because now you've got to prove they knew. Here's what we're doing with this thing. We're proving that they know.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. And getting the instruments lined up so that down the track, everything can be shown, examples can be given, evidence can be presented. We've always got to dot the I's and cross the T's, as they say.
Absolutely.
So I'm very excited for tomorrow night's show, where we will talk about what comes next. But for the time being, thank you, guys. Thank you for sharing your time with us tonight. Mona, God love you, woman. You are just an effervescent bubble of the most amazing educational knowledge. Thank you so much for sharing that with us here on this show.
They pushed me too hard and too far away, darling. They pushed me too far away and too much. And last year, that was the top. They put a knife behind my back, and I've been as a synonym. When they turn it on, the knife in your back, that's what they have done. I took it out. And I'm coming in pace with the fiduciary duty. Okay? Love and light.
Amen.
Yeah. Which is the knife in its sheath, isn't it, really? We'll
we
just
do
be
it in
returning
a paperwork.
Indeed. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Right.
And don't forget, of course, the corruption whistleblower is coming out. Issue 3 will be out in the next couple of weeks. This is issue 1. I cannot recommend it highly enough to people. The information in it should be in every school room and taught. This is issue 2. I have copies of that. If people want that, please email me, carl@vofhq.com. I'll figure out a way to get it to you. We'll figure it out one way or the other. Issue 3, I'm looking forward to this issue tremendously. And then there's, the Port Arthur issue again, which will poke its head up too. So very exciting stuff. And the corruption whistleblower is a very important part of this movement. You guys are movers and shakers. Peter, Donna, I can't thank you enough. I know a little bit of the bastardry, I'll call it, that's been carried out against particularly you, Peter, but you as well, Donna. And Mona, obviously, she's just still picking out knives. You never go throwing knives at Hungarian women, for Christ's sake. They'll throw an axe back.
You got a great audience too, Carl. Fantastic audience with really good questions. I thank your audience as well. Your viewers are fantastic, and thank you, Carl, for having us. Yeah,
they're very switched on people, my audience, and involved. But they'll want to know the ins and outs of a duck nut. So, and I can't blame them for that. We always ask people to question. We always ask people to use their own discernment. And all I can do is present and help you guys present this. I believe it's worthy of presentation and very worthy of people getting behind. I don't think we'll have any shortage of people who will get behind this. And like you say, Peter, a couple of hundred would be nice, but a couple of thousand would be amazing. And the process is, download, fill it in, red thumbprint. You don't have to go and cut your thumb off. Just go and get some red ink. You'll be fine.
It doesn't have to be sworn or anything.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't need JPs or nothing. It's just...
Just plain
and it's
simple.
easy with the paper trail and the emails.
Sign it, print it, scan it in, and send it off.
Yep, that's simple. And you do it 4 times. It's 4 times over 12 days.
The last time when you send it to them on the 4th, just BCC, whether we say info at corruption whistleblower, BCC the email in so we can get it on the 4th one. We can collaborate that information and bring it forth on the 8th of February to support the grand jury indictment.
As evidence.
Yep, as evidence. Tremendous. All right. Thank you very much, guys. I'll let you go off. I know it's getting late in your part of the world. It seems pretty hot down there now.
It is. It is a little bit, a lot of work going on down here.
We managed to turn up at the right time. It was like 6 degrees there over the weekend.
It's sunny now.
All right.
Yeah, good on you guys. All right. See you soon.
Thanks so much. Bye.
We will indeed. There you go. That's Peter and Donna from the Corruption Whistleblower and the absolutely amazing Mona, who is doing, along with a number of other people, a huge amount of work on our behalf. And I can't recommend highly enough to you that you go and check out vofhq.com is our website. Vince hasn't, I don't think, as yet been able to upload it. Vince is in a big My Place meeting this evening. And, hang on a minute. Yes, they're up. Right. So there is the example document, I'm going to say. And there is a sample document. All right. Yeah. So he's uploaded the sample. And you should be able to download that sample at vofhq.com right now. Okay, vofhq.com, and it's on the main page right at the top. If you want to be involved, we would love to have you involved. I'm just typing it into the chat so that you can see it. And the document is downloadable. Get that. Have a good read of it. We've been through it tonight. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And if it is something that aligns with you, we would love your support. A couple of hundred would be great. A couple of thousand would be even better. More than 10,000 would be absolutely amazing. And it will certainly put these people on notice as it is designed to do. So love and light, as many folks are saying in here. Oh, thanks, Mona. Yeah, wonderful to see Mona in the chat too. So it is a truly amazing bit of work, and there is a lot more coming your way. Tomorrow night, we're going to discuss the jury process, and that might be something you want to be involved in. If you do want to be involved in the jury, don't be involved in tonight's process, because you won't be able to be a jurist if you are involved in the indictment process. There is a reason for that, and we will explain that more tomorrow night. It's been a bit of a longer show tonight, and I've got to say it's a heavier show than maybe usual. So your head might be spinning a little bit, I understand. Maybe I would leave you with a laugh and a smile. Two of my favourite girls from Truth Seeker TV, Becky O and the wonderful Doris, have been suggesting that I get a new tattoo. Most of you have been aware that I'm struggling with a C cup, but that seems that they've found the best tattoo for me. Apologies if it offends. Thanks, girls. Maybe we'll have a vote on whether or not I get one of those tattoos. Thought I'd leave you with a smile tonight, folks. Enjoy the rest of your night. Be safe on the roads. There are dickheads all over them. Just avoid all of them if you can possibly, but if not, just avoid the worst of them. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. It's another very important night. I'll mention how it's going to play during the day tomorrow, but tomorrow night, another very important night, thanks to the corruption whistleblower and the wonderful Ramona. Although tomorrow night, you're going to meet another bloke named Des, and he's going to blow you away. See you soon.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!